Alright, so in a local Magic group that I'm a part of, somebody had asked if anybody had built a spider deck before, and I was like, me. And they asked what was in the deck, and instead of going into a very long explanation of everything that's in the deck, I decided to just make a video because I already have the webcam set up. Desk is relatively clear, so I'm just like, you know what? Might as well just make it a video. Lets me explain it and get the general concept behind it way easier than just typing it all out. And I can just put it into the Æther, and somebody else might see it and like it down the road. So I decided to go with more of a Golgari theme than a Jund or some weird 4-color spider deck. Mostly because spiders really haven't been viable until more recently, as there's been a lot of really good spider cards that have come out in the past year plus. Basically standard-ish, which actually makes this deck way more viable than it would be otherwise. And like I said, I went with a Golgari theme, so it's a little bit of self-mill. There's a lot of graveyard-esque abilities going on here, and it really is a good deck. Like, I like this deck. I like playing this deck. It's something that I'd wanted to build for like a decade, but haven't been able to because it just wasn't viable. Like, some of the spiders that had been out there for a long time are okay, but a lot of them are just honestly bad. Like, especially when taken to other cards that are out there, they just don't perform anywhere near as well. And this deck, I think that if it was put up against like a competitive, probably wouldn't do so well, but more like a casual and multiplayer format, this does really well. I love to play it in Plane Chase. I've got Vanguard with it. It's just really fun to play like that. So get right into it. Got the 1-drop Chainweb Ragnar. It's literally the only 1-drop spider ever. So, instant choice. But it actually really fits with the Golgari theming as well, as it has escape for 4. No, escape for 5. And it comes back with 3/1/1 counters. It's just a 1/2, but it deals damage to flyers when it comes into play. So it doesn't proc very often, but when it does, you know, it can be really helpful. But as spiders go, flying is kind of at a major disadvantage anyways because everything has reach. But again, 1-drop, works with the grave control, so it fits the theme. It does its job well. Next up, Spider Umbra. I decided to put this in the deck because it's a spider-themed deck more than a really highly competitive deck. But Spider Umbra, it's +1/+1 in reach. That's kind of null void. But it's Totem Armor. The Totem Armor ability, I love the Totem Armor back in the day. It's basically a force field for anything that it's equipped to. If it would be destroyed, you destroy Spider Umbra instead. Simple, 1/1, a 1/1 buff for 1, and basically an extra life afterwards. Also, you know, spiders like to molt, so it sort of works. Deadly Recluse is next up. It's been a long time staple of the game. I remember playing it like a decade ago. Yeah, like M10, I think it was out. So like it's been around for a really long time. 2-drop, 1/2, Death Touch, Reach. Really good staple. There's really nothing I can replace it with either because spiders don't have a lot, but that's also a really powerful card for a 2-drop, in my opinion. Next up, we got the Nyx Weaver here. 3-drop, green-black. Reach, at the beginning of your upkeep, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. That helps to the self-mill to get things into your graveyard, because there's a bunch of other stuff here that works and affects with the graveyard, which is why I went with the Golgari theme. You can also pay 3 and exile Nyx Weaver to return target card from your graveyard to your hand. So if one of the other key components of the deck ends up in your graveyard and it doesn't have a way to get it back on its own, you have a way to get them back. It's definitely works with the strategy very well for this deck. Next up, we got Spider Spawning here. Spider Spawning is 5-drop. Create a 1/2 spider creature token with reach for each creature in your graveyard. Again, that Golgari self-mill kind of ability going on. It also has Flashback for 7, which is kind of really heavy, but again, I play this as more of a multiplayer or casual format in which getting that much mana is definitely viable, and as a late game, being able to drop that from your grave, or potentially even multiple turns in a row, drop it from your grave is really powerful. So yeah, that's definitely a really great card in this deck. Next up, I went with Coat with Venom. Coat with Venom is more of a thematic card. I wanted basically a 1-drop Death Touch instant that I could just throw down and be like, boom. And Coat with Venom I thought was the most thematic. It's not the most powerful 1-drop Death Touch card out there. There are definitely more powerful ones, but Coat with Venom, I thought it was very thematic and it fit the deck very well, so that's why I chose it. And again, being able to just Death Touch, when your opponent attacks, is really powerful. Catch them by surprise. Grizzly Salvage, again, Lil Golgari. This really does help the deck out a lot to be able to do this, as there is still more down the line that has graveyard effects here. So you reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. You may put one of them, creature or land, into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. It is very helpful for what's coming down the pipeline, and also what you've seen before. Really helps to keep that theme going. Next up is Rot Widow Pack. It's 4-drop, 2/4. You can pay 5, exile a card from your graveyard, create 1/2 spider creature token with reach, and then your opponent loses life for each spider you control, which can be really powerful, especially when you combine it with Spider Spawning. And it's not meant to be like, oh, you lose 30 life, 20 life, instant win. It's more of like, you keep doing it. Excuse me. And you keep hitting that, take 5, over and over again kind of thing. Just whittle them down. It's pretty powerful. Next up, in my opinion, is one of the most powerful things spiders have. It's actually one of the things that I had been wanting to build a spider deck for a very long time. This card has been out for like almost a decade as well. And it's why I wanted to build the spider deck. So we have Arcanus Spinner and Arcanus Web. So Arcanus Web is, let's see, there we go. I can still get down a little more. It's 3-cost enchantment. Enchanted creature can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. That's pretty good. It goes away at the end of the end step if their power is 4 or greater, which doesn't sound great. They break out of the webs, oh no. But right next to it is the Arachnus Spinner. Arachnus Spinner's 6 costs, pretty beefy spider. You can tap any untapped spider you control, search your graveyard or library for a card named Arcanus Web, equip it to a target creature, which means that you can just keep doing that to your opponent. Like, I end my turn, and then you equip Arachnus Web on their turn to whatever big baddie they have, and it can't attack, use any abilities for that turn, and they're basically screwed. Yeah, they break out at the end of the turn, but you keep replaying it from the graveyard. Like, it doesn't matter. Any one of these spiders can be tapped to keep doing that. You just have to have them on the field. Putting Spider Umbra on Arachnus Spinner, definitely kind of like a good combination there to keep him alive, so you can keep doing that. But yeah, that's so powerful. I love it. It really embodies that kind of spider, wrapping them up in the web thing, and I really enjoy that. Just slide on over a little bit here. Next we have Astra of the Endless Web, 4-drop legendary enchantment spider. Whenever your opponent casts an instant sorcery, you create a 1/2 spider token, which is pretty powerful. And it puts your opponent in a situation where, like, do I want to keep playing these little spells when you just keep getting bigger and bigger? And it also just helps with the, like, deal damage for spiders stuff. The last one on the end here is the I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, Ishgunara Graph Widow. It is a 5-cost Delirium, so when it enters the battlefield, if there are 4 or more cards among types in your graveyard, you put 3 1/2 spider creature tokens into the battlefield, and you can pay 7. Again, really, really expensive, but this is like multiplayer format. In my opinion, I think that's fine for like end game. Your opponent loses 1 life for each spider you control. Again, we have that for cheaper, 2 cheaper, and you get spiders out of it. But it's just another source of being able to do that. And also, it's just a good card. So, this is my spider deck. Like I said, I decided to just make a little short video going over everything that's in here because I was asked. It easier and more people might be interested in it, so I put it out to the ether, see what people think. If you enjoyed this, like, comment. I don't really care. Thanks for watching.